Good morning, everyone. Thank you again for staying behind to join us in this session. So yes, this is the alumni session with some of the students that have studied in Ireland and they're working in Ireland. And here we're here to share their experiences and how it is to study and work and stay back. And we can learn from all of the mistakes and the good things that they have done. Excuse me. And so I will have them introduce themselves, but please remember that this is an Education in Ireland virtual fair. We have 15 of the institutions right here on this platform. They're here at the booths. You can just click on any of the booths, enter, and get chatting with any of the representatives. They are here to respond to any of inquiries that you have. But by the end of this session of our discussions with the alumni, you can leave us a message. We will be glad to respond to any of the inquiries you have relating to living in Ireland or anything as much as they can answer your questions. So over to you, alumni. Would you please introduce yourself to us?
All right, my name is Liberty Omogbe. I graduated from Technological University of Shannon. I studied biopharmaceutical technology, and I'm presently working in Baxter International, and I'm here in Ireland.
Okay, thank you so much. Derry, over to you.
Hi, my name is Darren Aribaba. I studied in the University of Limerick. I studied international commercial law. I am currently working as a trust and safety specialist at HubSpot here in Ireland.
Great. Thank you so much for that short introductions. So let's go over decision making. What inspired you to choose Ireland over other countries, over other study abroad destinations that are open that you were open to while in Nigeria?
Well, for me, one of the key thing I actually looked at for back then when I was in Nigeria in going to a different country, no, number one was my ability to adapt to the situation in the country. And one thing that stood out for me was that I was looking for an English-speaking country, which some countries actually stood out. So I had a list of countries that I think I'll be able to adapt because I'll be able to communicate well when I get to the country. And so for me, English was an English-speaking country was very, very essential for me. So um, then afterwards, I looked at the course that I wanted to study, was my course in demand in that country. So I, just as I said, I studied biopharmaceutical technology. So I looked out for opportunities in these different countries. So I found out that Ireland has a very strong pharmaceutical presence, and the demand for um, biopharmaceutical was very, very high. So that was very, very key for me. Then overall, I found out that Ireland was equally a very, very friendly country. Um, they are peacekeepers, and the country is very, very stable in all aspects. And I can tell you that even during the COVID era, they were among the few countries in the world that were able to take care of their citizens if you actually qualify. And I can tell you that I was part of those that actually benefited from the program. They were paying every week about 300 euros. So Ireland is a very stable country. And one thing that actually, for me, that actually qualifies stand out for Ireland is that racism in Ireland it's very, very low compared to most countries you can think of. The racism in Ireland is very low. I've been here for like close to 3 years now. I can tell you that I've not experienced any form of racism at all. So I think that is one of the things that has actually stood Ireland out. And one thing I could equally say is that I wanted a country that I wanted a country where if I get a degree, the degree will be recognized worldwide. And I can tell you that Ireland degree actually stands out worldwide. So these are some of the reasons why I chose Ireland.
Over the okay, Darian, over to you. Hi, Darian, are you there? Oh, you muted. You're muted, actually.
Hi, sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. I picked Ireland because I studied law, and I don't know if there are lawyers here, but Nigeria runs a common law program. We won on common law, and I wanted a common law jurisdiction, and also the fact that it's like they're speaking English. So I was left with not too many countries in the world, and I also wanted a country that the education was quite affordable compared to other like
Other,
institutions and stuff.
okay.
And so that's one of the reasons. That's really why I picked Ireland. And then the course I was trying to study, the school I picked actually had a good program. So
Oh,
that's why I picked Ireland. Yeah.
that's one of
Like you said, Ireland is, yeah. That's why I picked Ireland. Honestly,
okay.
it was
I
not too
say
far
you're
from
saying
it was
that
not too far from
Ireland.
Nigeria.
Sorry.
Said that it was not too far from Nigeria, so that's another plus.
Okay. So, I mean, highlighting all the advantages that you have looked out for, having got when you got to Ireland, when you arrived in Ireland, was your how was it for you in expectations, culture shock? Do you feel different? I know Liberty just mentioned that there was not sort of the level of racism he has not even experienced. But was there a disparity in everything you saw online and not getting there? Was there something different there?
Yes, the culture shock. It's some things you feel like some things you didn't like. Maybe the Irish like to walk around a lot. So you know how I think one of the things that stood out to me was the fact that when I got to Ireland, I asked them, oh, everybody was really nice. Like the Irish are very welcoming. They are very nice. They are very nice people. The racism here is not, I wouldn't say I haven't maybe experienced microaggressions, but I would say it's not in your face. And they try as a people, at least people that I have interacted with, to be more welcoming, more understanding, and more open. They're very open. They're very nice. The culture shock, yes, maybe because it rains a lot, the weather, the culture shock coming from a country where we're very loud, coming here, it's quiet, it's more serene, it's more sensible, let's put it that way. Like you said,
Okay.
the Irish government really tried taking care of people during the COVID era. Yeah. At first, we were, I'm sure, being foreigners when the COVID first hit, we were first afraid that we're going to be taken care of. What's going to happen? And for amazingly, they actually took care of every single person that was under their care. So far, you were legally here, you were going to be taken care of.
Okay. Darren, you studied in the University of Limerick, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because someone is asking, so it's just to clarify and get your audience correctly. So yes,
So
thank you so much for that. It's really interesting to see. So, but academically, how would you say the curriculum was different? There, Liberty, how would you say academically the curriculum that you had in Ireland and the ones that you have experienced in Nigeria, of course, what stood out for you? Do you say that it's worth the money that you have spent, or would you say that there's something part of it that you really don't like, or something like that?
Well, I wouldn't say there's anything that I didn't like. Actually, I studied pharmacy in Nigeria, and if you know pharmacy in Nigeria, where we undergo very rigorous task and we do practical a lot. So, but coming down here, in the course that I equally did, we equally it was very very engaging. We did lots of practicals, and I think the practical aspect actually stood out. And then even within 1 year, it was a master's program. Within a year, we we went to the industry and add even more practical experience. So, well, I think it was very very nice. It was engaging. The lecturers were friendly. They always want to, if no matter any question you have, no matter how stupid it is, they are always willing to um, give a listening ears and always want to um, solve your problems. Like I think it's worthwhile. It's worth it.
So, in comparison to Nigerian pharmacy that you have studied, of course, what will stand out for you?
Well, I'm trying to say pharmacy in Nigeria. For me, it was practical based, so I wouldn't want to say Ireland was more practical or something. Pharmacy, but like what I'm saying that is compared to other courses in Nigeria, it's not really too practical based.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if I'm using mine to judge, that may not be too
Oh
fair.
no.
But
Well,
in
we're
Nigeria,
saying
we
it's
did lots
based
of
on
practical.
your own course of study. Yeah.
Yeah, when I came down here, we did, just as I said, we did lots of practical. Even during COVID, we were still coming to the lab, doing more practical. I wanted
Mhm.
to actually, okay, maybe what I would say is, in Nigeria we did group practicals, but
Okay.
yeah, it was like a one-on-one. You,
Mhm.
instead of like Nigeria, they could group you into groups of 10, and then you use one reagent and stuff like
Mhm.
that. This one person to a particular reagent, one person to apparatus and biosafety cabinet and so on and so forth. So the
Mhm.
practical was more intense, and it was you know that you know what you are doing. So the
Mm.
practical was more down here. It was more down.
Thank you so much, Liberty. Darren, considering your sector of operation, would you say that academically, the content of and your experience of studying in Ireland is different from Nigeria?
Yes, very different. I would compare to how I studied in Nigeria. My course first things were not too many. I think my class were like maybe 30 at most, and then the lecturers literally would know you personally, and
Mm.
it was more interactive. It was more practical. It was, I would say it was, I'm not saying it's as practical as Liberty's experience, because mine is more theoretical. It was more like you could actually understand what, it's like you could feel what they were trying to teach you. It
Mm.
was you were given the liberty to learn and unlearn and express yourself the way you actually understand whatever. You are not penalized for thinking outside the box. You're actually rewarded for thinking outside the box. So like in Nigeria, where the lecturer wants you to just do exactly what it tells you in class. So like that was, for me, that was my experience. It was more um, let's say it was more freeing, it was more understanding, it was like it made it more easier, maybe because of the class, the number of people in class, and how friendly the lecturers were. I'm willing to understand, I'm willing to explain, I'm willing to listen. Yeah, you
Mm.
got proper feedbacks on your essays and things like that. So if you write an essay, most lecturers will immediately tell you, oh, this is where you went wrong, this is how you should be, this is how you should explain it better next time. I understand you said this, but why would you look at it this other way? So this kind of experiences were, it was quite different from the experience in Nigeria.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know if I will add this from what she said. There was something I equally noticed that wasn't like back home. Probably it was because we were not too many in class also. But
Okay.
like I found out that its lecturers were down to earth. They virtually know everybody, even by your name. They
Mm.
call you by your name. Like you'll be like, what is this? Like, you feel this sense of belonging and stuff like, oh, your lecturers know you by your name, your character, know virtually everything about you. For me, that was very, very good. They take their time in doing their things, and I think that actually makes it more interesting.
Oh, interesting. Thank you so much for your responses. So everyone that's just joining, welcome. Thank you for joining. My name is Rosaline. I work with the Education in Ireland team in Nigeria. I have here with me Liberty and Demi. They are both alumni of schools in Ireland. They've studied in the University of Limerick. Demi have studied in the University of Limerick, and Liberty, the Technology University of the Shannon. So we're here just to share their experiences. They are now working in Ireland, and we want to just learn from them and see what we can, what of these things that they have done, and what we can adopt and also practice while we are inspiring to study in Ireland as well. So to both of you, please, were you able to just get a job right after your graduation in the field that you have studied? Darren, you can go first.
Uh, okay, I wouldn't say it wasn't immediately,
Okay.
but I think after I graduated, I guess it took me about 6 months to get a job,
Hmm.
and I studied law. But
Okay.
I am not working in law per se,
Okay.
but I'm not working in the legal sector at Passy. I'm working basically in tech. But my law degree helped, and the fact that I studied, I studied law, and my experience being a lawyer actually helped in me getting my role.
Okay.
So I guess I would say that it took a while, but it was I did get a job. So
So in the process of the 6 months, what were
Well,
you
for
doing? Seri Dibati,
I was
let's
just applying for jobs.
so you were seriously applying for jobs. Did the school help you in any
I
way
was
to
actively applying for.
did
Yes,
the
the
school
school
help
had
you?
fairs. The school was. Yeah, the school did. They tried their best. We had fairs. We had a career clinic where they review your CVs.
Okay.
We had every week. I think every other week they always sent like job openings to everybody. So far, you signed up for it.
Okay.
And if you needed a reference, most times the lecturers were willing to be your referee.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So
So there's
yeah,
no
the
need to
lecturers
look
were willing to be your referee.
so there's no need to look for an uncle or an auntie that can help you be a reference. The institution will definitely provide
Well,
it.
you can. You can. It depends. Some organizations will want maybe a previous work referee. Some organizations will not mind academic referees. So
Okay.
it depends.
Okay. All right, Liberty, how
Yeah.
about you?
well, I think my story is similar to ours. I got my job, I think, 5 to 6 months, or 4 to 6 months after graduation. Uh, well, I actually got in the field which I studied. I studied biopharmaceutical technology, so I'm working in a pharmaceutical company presently as a test method validation specialist. So, and the course that I studied, even back home and here, actually assisted. But most importantly, what I did here was more industry based because back home I was more clinically based.
Okay.
So, but what I studied here was more industry based. So that actually had a long way in helping me to secure the job. And just like in my opening remark, while we were in school, we were taken to a pharmaceutical based industry, which we put in our CV as like sort of like a workplace mentor experience. So that actually equally assisted in helping me to secure my job. Not just me, my colleagues. It's a factor that actually stood most of us out, especially even among our other peers that studied in other schools here and did they have such experience. So for me, that's actually even stands my school out. Anyhow, yeah. But before then, before I got um, the my job, I was working in a different place entirely. In short, while I was in school, when I got to Ireland, in my first 1 2 months, I started working. So as while I was studying, I was working. So I did that very job even after studying. That's after graduation. So it was within the process of that 4 to 6 months that got a job.
Great. So would you say that so you said the institution helped you in facilitating your employment, right?
Yes, they actually did a lot. In short, when we started the course, when we started, they they sort of assisted those of us that probably were not too strong in speaking English or something because like when you're coming from somewhere they'll be looking at you like, do you know how to speak English or and stuff like that. So they there's a we usually have English class for those that are interested. They want to just brush you up and stuff like that. So for me, I think that was key. They will have a department that helps in arranging CV. Like the CV we use back home is sort of different from the one we
International one.
use here. So they have a department that they have a format, so they take you in, help you out with your CV, and whatever questions you have, you can ask and things like that. Then also we have things like career fairs. They
Mm.
brought people in the industry, or staffs from different industries, and then we had interactions with them. We asked them questions, interview-based questions, what they do in the industry, and so on and so forth. They will equally have something like career fairs where they bring different industries,
Mm.
or something like an open day or something. So they bring different industries to the school, and then people from there can. I think some people even got job, yeah, through the process. So in a way, they really assisted, and even up till now, they still keep in touch, trying to ask how you are doing, what's, stuff like that. Yeah,
Wow.
they really did a lot.
Is that the same for you, Derry? The university still reach out to check on you?
When I say they do, I graduated in 2020, so I think they have their hands full with new people. But once in a while, we get some messages. We get some messages once in a while from the alumni department.
Okay. Thank you so much for this insight. And so, but to wrap up a bit, and let's just go into the questions that we have in the comment section. As an investment in your future career, do you think the Irish experience represents good value for your money that you have spent?
Mm. Oh, I think yes. I think yes. I think the money I spent, I use in coming, I think I've made it already. So I think that's for me. I've made the capital, I've made the profit. So I think it's a huge
So
investment.
now it's profit.
It's
Derry,
worth
is
it.
that the same
It's
for
worth
you?
money.
Have you made?
Exactly.
Yes, actually, it's the same. Yeah, it's for yeah, for me. I think it's the same thing. Yeah, it's like you've ripped your profits back. Let me put it that way. Yeah,
Hmm.
so it's the same thing. For me, past my own experience, the investment was worth it.
It was worth it, even though you didn't get the I mean, job in the line of your study. It was still um,
Yeah, but oh yeah, the reason for me not getting was not because I didn't want to. I honestly didn't want. I wanted something else. So
okay.
that was why I decided to just apply to other places instead of going into law.
Laura, okay.
So yeah, I just wanted something else.
Okay. So thank you so much. So yeah, everyone, over to your questions. Some people say, okay, I've taken this one. Okay, some people are asking for courses, specific courses related questions, and I'm not sure that Liberty and Darren will be able to tell us something about any of this course. Somebody was asking, what did Darren study? I think I already replied.
Yeah, I studied international commercial law.
Mhm. Okay, some say those of us who applied at what state is required of us to represent. Okay, please, if you for admission related questions, I think you should just go into any of the booths institutions. Derry studied in the University of Limerick, and University of Limerick is represented here. Liberty studied in the Technology University,
Of Shannon,
University of Shannon. They're here.
TUS.
TUS. They are here at the booth, so you can please check them out, and the representatives will be here to respond to you. Somebody said, please, when they were studying, were they able to invite anybody over as a student?
No.
No. What's so okay? I think this question will go to Liberty. So what's the job market for public health professionals in Ireland?
I think it's vast. I have a friend that just even got a job in public health. It's really vast. The truth is, getting a job, there are lots of jobs here, but I won't tell you that getting a job is easy. You need to convince your employer, or the person interview you, that yes, you are the best person for this job. But talking about if there's market for it, or if you can get, like, boldly tell you, yes, there
So
is
someone is
lots
asking
of jobs.
that your process of paying fees, that how was it like for you? Was it easy or difficult? And were you able to work while you were studying? And yes, during your program, and how easy or difficult was it working and schooling at the same time? How good is the pay? Somebody.
Well, it just depends on you. It's, I think for me it's easy studying and working. That's actually because of my background. Just as I said, I studied pharmacy in Nigeria. Anybody that know pharmacy in Nigeria is very tough. I graduated from Uniben. The kind of treatments and ash condition I studied, I can't. Compared to what I have here, it's far less. So for me, combining education and working was pretty very easy for me. So for me, I was able to combine education. I was able to combine working together, and I still try. Still, at least I emerged as the best in my class. Even those, why I'm saying this is that even those that did not study, sorry,
Mm.
even those that did not work, that were just studying alone, I was still able to pass them. So I think it just depends on what you want. If you can combine them, absolutely fine. It's
Yes.
very possible to combine.
So, Darren, did
In
you
short,
work?
I had two jobs. I had two jobs.
You had to. Okay. We're not going to publicize that. Did you work while you studied too, Darren?
Yeah, I did. I actually worked while I studied too. Um,
Okay.
yeah, but it was. I wouldn't say it was easy to combine, but it was okay. Because of like maybe because we're coming from Nigeria, so you know already how to, with the harsh conditions you've actually studied
So,
in Nigeria. You like you survived. You're like okay, you can actually do it, and the way the system is structured, it allows you to actually do it comfortably because you're only allowed to work 20 hours in
a
a
week.
week.
Yeah.
So that being said, but it's enough, and the amount of money you get, it's enough for your cost of living. So
Mm.
far, you live within your a certain
Means. Yeah.
mint.
Same.
Yeah, so it's enough for your cost of living. I would say
Okay.
that.
Okay. So how was the hostel accommodation facility while you were studying?
Oh, I didn't stay in the hostel because due to some visa delays, I got into Ireland late, and all the hostels had been taken. So I had to get accommodation off campus.
Okay.
And it was why the place I stayed while I was studying was actually good. It
Okay.
was okay, but it was not just on campus. I didn't stay on campus.
Was there an involvement of the institution in you getting a good apartment or that kind of thing?
Well, I would say, yeah, I think I got the apartment through somebody in the postgraduate office.
Okay.
The postgraduate department. So they have like a student association for postgrads. So
Okay.
I went there, told them, oh, I was trying to find accommodation, and then one day somebody just said, oh, this Nigerian person is looking for a housemate, and
Okay.
then that's how I got the place.
Oh, great. Um, for TUS, is that the same Liberty?
Yeah, they have a department. I think the student union department that assists in accommodation. So they do assist. But for me, I didn't stay in. I wouldn't say TUS have a specific accommodation. I think they are working on that now. I think it's not like University of Limerick that they have a I think student accommodation or something. But there are accommodations that are certified by the school, just around the school. So which they do assist. But for me, I went out. I wanted something a bit cheaper, so I went out to look for, although it was very close, it was about 7 minutes walk to school. But for me, it was cheaper for me, and I was able to save more. I think somebody asked if what's the cost of accommodation.
Yeah.
Roughly, I think in Ireland. Okay, you can ask.
Yeah, no, definitely. Go ahead. What's the cost? Because the question was directed at Darren actually to say that
Oh,
how
okay.
it's
Okay.
outside campus.
Oh, okay. I would say that I lived and I still live in Limerick. So the Limerick cost of living is cheaper than that in Dublin and I feel Cork.
Definitely.
I think I paid about when I got here I paid about 450 euros minus bills a month.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's what I paid when I first got here. And I know you can get cheaper, you can get higher because I
Yeah.
know. So it depends on what you find. But I don't know what the market. I can't say what the market is right now because maybe more people like obviously inflation and the cost of living has a bit increased. But I would say for Limerick at the time I got here, and Limerick is supposed to be maybe the third cheapest city in the country. I'm not sure.
Yes,
I'm
it
not
is.
too sure. I'm not. Yeah.
Okay. So Would that be the same for you, Liberty, if we're going to?
Well, mine was a bit cheaper than ours. She paid about for something. I paid three 20.
Okay.
And then there was even a time I became very close to my landlady, and then I paid 280 or something. So I kept constantly negotiating and stuff. I just wanted to make more money. That's just all. So mine was a bit cheaper.
Yours was a bit cheaper, right?
Yeah, I think after I left that place, I got cheaper. I think at the point I paid about 330. Another time I paid about 320 for other places. So it's can you can get cheaper, but at the time it was just what was available, and I had to take
Yeah,
it.
Thank
yeah,
you.
but
Someone is asking, is it easy to go around other European countries? Like you can easily travel?
uh,
I don't
I
know. I believe it's easier when the country you're going to is part of the Schengen Accord, and Ireland isn't part of the Schengen Accord. So
Okay.
because you have a Nigerian passport, unfortunately you have to apply for a visa to go to other places. But being in Ireland and making sure your documentation is correct, everything is I feel like you get your visa to go to other places.
Easy. Okay. Okay, then. Thank you so much for the insight you're giving the prospective students today, and I'm sure that we've all had something to learn, one or two. So this will be the end of the broadcast now for the alumni session. I would love you to please give them a final word. What would you tell someone that's looking forward to coming to meet you in Ireland and to study in Ireland? What are your words of advice that you would like to give to them? Okay, Liberty, you can go first, and then I'll have Darren go.
okay. Well, for those coming down, I would say I think you're on track. One thing I usually say about Ireland is like Ireland is like a virgin. It has not been this virgin like some other countries that everybody try to flock to. Ireland is a land of opportunities. There are several opportunities here. Uh, I'm sure by the time you come, you are not going to regret it. And I'm sure Darren and I are waiting to welcome you here. So you're welcome.
Thank you, Darren.
What I would say is when you're coming, um, weigh your pros and cons and ensure that you're ready for the journey is not smooth, but just persevere. Let me put it that way. Ireland is at least one of the best places to study in, and that is hands down. It's a friendly country. It's a secure country. It's safe. As being black, at least being a girl too, it's quite safe. And I would say that when you come and you want to really come here, just um, the journey is not smooth, but it's worth it. And then
Okay, thank you so much for the time that you have taken to come join us in this discussion today. Thank you so much. There it is. Derry studied in the University of Limerick, and Liberty studied in Technology University of the Shannon. So the universities are here on the booths. You can please visit them and ask questions. Also, there are 15 of the universities here in of Ireland here in this event. So you can please just visit each and every one of them. The representatives are here to give you questions and I mean attend to your questions and give you insights to the process and application procedures in Ireland. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. We have also coming up is the session with the current students, those who are currently studying in Ireland, and I'm sure you want to hear from them. So see you soon. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.